Hey folks, I hope you like this template inspired by the Squid Game TV series. It was a lot of fun to make. In a few seconds, I'll take you through the tutorial of how I made this template. But first, don't forget to like, subscribe and share, as it would really help out the channel and enable me to keep making this content for you. And as always, you'll find the download link in the description. Having said that, let's jump right into the tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'll be covering the design of the 5 or 6 most complicated slides in this template. And you'll find the time codes for each of the slides down below. So let's start with slide number 1. I'll open a new slide just below this. The first thing we'll create is this X-like shape on the slide. So for that, all you need to do is first draw a rectangle that covers roughly 2/3 of the slide. Having done that, let's go back to our shapes and let's draw a triangle. Let's give it a different color. Let's place it over our previous rectangle and let's match it to the corners. Then let's make another copy of the triangle, rotate it and make it smaller. Let's place it roughly over here. Let's make another copy of this, flip it upside down and take it to the top. We'll keep one copy of the triangle separate for later use. And as you can see, we already have the X shape beginning to emerge. I'll just adjust the smaller triangles a little bit more. And there we go. So let's select our 3 triangles. Let's go over to Merge Shapes and click on Union. So all 3 are now part of the same shape. Then all we need to do is click on the white rectangle, press Ctrl and select the triangles, go to Merge Shapes again and click on Subtract. And boom, there we have our X shape ready. Then we can bring in the extra triangle that we've created and fit it into the cuts that we've made. Let's change the color to pink. Make another copy of this, fit it in the cut above, and there we go. And we want a slight pink peeking out from the top as well, so we make another copy of our triangle. Let's take it over here and let's resize it. We'll use the yellow node to move the angle of the triangle. Let's send it to back and adjust the points. And as quick as that, we've got our shape ready. Now all we need to do is add an image to our X and boom, within seconds we've got this beautiful slide ready. We can add the rest of the elements now. Let's draw a circle. Let's give it the pink outline and remove the shape fill. We'll make the line a little thicker. So let's say about 4.5 points. Let's draw a straight line cutting across the slide. We select our circle, go to Format Painter and give the same color and effect to our line. Let's make another copy of the line and take it over to the other side. And let's finally decrease its size. We can bring in another triangle as our play button. And there we go. Finally, all you need to do is add your text. So in less than a minute, we've created this beautiful opening slide. We'll now move on to slide number 2, and this is going to be a lot more complicated as there'll be multiple motion path animations running throughout this. So this will require a little more patience. Let's get going. Before we begin designing this slide, let's take a closer look at what's going on in it. So we see the two shapes appear, they bounce, and then the two circles appear and follow each shape exactly. So that's what we'll create first. Let's go over to a new slide. Let's close all the panes that we don't need. The first thing we need to do is create the final shape that we'll want. So let's create the triangle. Let's give it a little more weight. About 6 points should be fine. Let's make a copy of this. We can actually edit shape and click on rectangle, and that will turn it into a square. And then we'll need our two circles. So shape outline pink and no fill, and we can increase the width of the line. I'll just align it to the middle. So basically this is the final look that we want post animation. We'll leave this over on the side right now. First, let's animate the triangle. So I'll make a copy of our triangle, move it over to the center of the slide, and the first thing we'll do is go over to animations, open our animation pane as well, and let's add the fly in animation and set it to fly in from top. But we want it to fly in to roughly in the position of the square. So let's drag our triangle down and match it with the square. Let's set the animation to start with previous, and let's increase it to about 150. So it flows in smoothly like that. Then as soon as it touches here, we want it to move up. So let's add animation, motion path, move the motion path to up. Use the red marker to position the triangle exactly opposite our reference shape. Let's set this to start after previous. Let's go into effect options. Remove our smooth start and smooth end. So let's take a look at it. And that works pretty well. So we can change the duration of this to match the fly-in effect. So it seems to move at roughly the same pace. Next, we'll do the same thing to the square, except the square will come in from the bottom. So let's move it to the right of the triangle. Let's take it up to our reference shape. Add the fly-in animation. Start with previous, but we want it to fly in with the triangle. Increase the duration to match the triangle. Add animation, motion path, and once again adjust the motion path. Set it to start with previous and decrease the duration. And that's what it looks like. So if you select both the shapes and align them in the middle, they should overlap. And that's our first part of the animation. The next thing we want is for these circles to appear and follow the path of each shape. The first circle is fairly easy to do. All we need to do is first add an appear animation, set it to run after previous, go to add animations, more motion paths, and select the equal triangle. Having done that, match the path to your shape. So all you need to do is drag it and match it. Let's go over to Effect Options, remove the Smooth Start and Smooth End, and set it to play with Previous. And that's easy. The square is slightly more complicated, so I'll zoom in so I can give you a better view. Now, first we'll add the appear animation to this. Start with previous, or we'll do start after previous. And then, suppose we go into more motion paths and add a square motion path. And then we match the motion path lines to our shape. Now this would work well if we wanted our circle to begin from the corner, but we don't want to do that. We want it to begin from the center. So the square motion path will not work for us. So I'll delete the path that we've just created. Go to Add Animations, and in Motion Paths, select something called Custom Path. Then simply draw the path you want the circle to follow. Let's take a look. And that's good enough for government work. But if you're like me and you want the square to be perfect, well, then right-click on your motion path, go to Edit Points, and you'll see all the various stops that the circle is actually making. I'll zoom in a little closer. Now what you need to do is delete all the extra edit points except for the 4 corners. So I'll quickly do that. Having deleted all the extra edit points, make sure each of your remaining points matches the exact corner of your shape. And then take the blue handles and drag them across so they create a straight line. This will remove the curve in the shape. So let's take a look at it now. And we've achieved our goal of having the circle start from the middle of the square. We'll set it to start with previous, and in Effect Options, we'll remove the smooth start and smooth end. So these are the animations that we've created. Now, I'll just close the animation pane. We'll delete our reference shapes. Select everything that we have on the slide. Go to Arrange, Align to Slide, and Align to Center. Let's see in full screen if that worked. One thing we need to do is make sure our circles are in front of the white shapes. And that worked out pretty good. The rest of the slide is fairly decorative and quite easy to do. So let's draw a rounded rectangle around this animation that we've created. Let's give it a pink outline and remove the shape fill. Let's increase the weight of the line. And in shape effects, let's give it a glow of the same color that we've added to the line. There we go. Next, we'll quickly add the loading text. Let's change the color of our font. Let's make another copy of it. In shape format, let's go to text outline, give it a pink outline, and in text fill, no fill. So we have these two contrasting fonts. You can make another copy, place it below, select all, group them, rotate them, make another copy, rotate it the other way around, slide it over to the right. We can add a background image. Since this image is quite busy, I'll, in corrections, make it darker. In fact, I'll make it more darker. It's currently set at -40. I'll take it down to about 60. So it's just barely visible. Then we can add a few more elements like this gradient triangle. And then a few of these decorative elements that are part of the Squid Game logo. Let's take a look. And that looks pretty neat. Alright then, let's move on to slide number 3. This slide is fairly easy to set up, and the main element we have here is that of the morph transition. So first, let's quickly insert our 3D objects. Let's place them in the slide. Adjust them however you like. And that's pretty much all we need to do really. Let's grab a few of our decorative elements from the previous slide. Bring them over to the new slide. We can adjust the placement a little bit. And then we can finally add our text. So as you can see, it's not very difficult to initially set up this slide. I'll delete the previous reference slide. Now, grab your 3D objects and copy them over to the previous slide. Let's change the angle, make it smaller, and move it outside the slide. Let's do the same with the mask. And let's grab the loading text and bring it onto our new slide. And this also will move outside the boundaries of the slide. So, when we add the morph transition, hopefully it should look something like this. And that looks nice. A fairly dramatic effect. And similarly for the next slide, I'll make a new blank slide and draw a triangle onto the slide. I'll rotate it, match the top and the bottom, and we'll extend the triangle by a little bit by adding a rectangular shape to it that matches it exactly, so it looks something like this. And I'll select both and merge them using union. Then let's go into format shape and insert a picture. Adjust the picture after inserting it. Let's make another copy of this shape and this time add the pink color to it. Rotate it slightly and send it to back. Then let's just match it, decrease the rotation a bit, and there we go. Then we can add our decorative elements and text. And as the final touch, let's select the 3D mask and bring it over to the new slide. Let's rotate it, increase its size, and take it right to the left corner of the slide. So let's delete the reference slide. And we can also select the figures and randomly move them out of the slide. So this time when we add a morph to it, it should look something like this. And that looks pretty good. And now we'll move on to our final set of slides, which are these morphing review cards. So these are pretty easy to do. Let's open a new slide. Let's draw a rounded rectangle and give it the color pink. Then let's add a little circle for our image. And for the sake of speed, I'll just quickly copy over the image and text I've used in the original slides. I'll make sure it's aligned properly. And similarly, I'll create the other two cards as well. So again, I'll just copy over the contents from the previous cards. Make sure all the content is aligned properly, and I'll probably have to resize the cards as some of the content is too large for it. And there we go. So our 3 cards are ready. I'll just move them to the center of the slide. Now I'll select one of the rounded rectangles and copy it, and this time I'll fill it with a dark purple. I'll cover each card with this new dark purple rectangle. I'll select all 3 of the dark purples and I'll increase the transparency to 100%. Then I'll group each card separately. There we go. Next, let's go over to our selection pane and make sure all our groups are named accurately. So I'll name them Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. Then I'll duplicate this slide, and this time I'll decrease the transparency on all the purple cards. Having done that, I'll also resize all 3 cards and make them a little smaller. And I'll resize the text as well. So now we have 2 sets of cards, visible and faded. All we need to do is arrange them and morph them. So let's grab our Group 1, align it to the center of a new slide. Let's grab Group 2 and Group 3 from the faded cards and move them onto the new slide as well, and adjust them on the right. Then in a new slide, grab Group 2, move it to the center of the slide. Group 1 from the faded cards moves to the left and group 3 from the faded cards moves in from the right. So let's add a morph transition and see if that worked. And that's how we create these morphing review cards. We simply need to repeat the same step for the third card as well. So these are some of the basic techniques I've used to create this Squid Game inspired template. Go ahead, download it and experiment with it for yourself. I hope you find this content helpful. Hit the like and subscribe buttons to show your love. Once again, thank you for watching and remember to keep on creating.